If you don't use it, you lose it. I've heard my mother say that countless times, and much as I rolled my eyes and smirked at the time, as the years have gone on, I now see just how true it is. It's worth adding that as far as your brain is concerned, even if you haven't used it for ages and you feel if you have already lost it, it's not too late, you can get it back. The reason you can get it back is because your brain is a stupendous living thing. It is able to repair itself and create new pathways of thought and memory. The power of your mind must never be underestimated. Your brain needs looking after. Over the last 25 years, since I started solving the number puzzles on the UK Channel 4 TV program Countdown, people have talked to me about numbers and most have been fearful or negative about them. For listeners who have never seen it, Countdown has become a cult show in Britain and is one of the most successful game shows of all time. Some rounds involve contestants being faced with challenging word puzzles, and other rounds test mental arithmetic skills. Unlike most other game shows, Countdown is all about skill and brain power, and the winner gets a teapot. There is no money involved at all. I can't do sums, oh I hate maths, why on earth did we have to learn algebra? And so on. I must have heard just about every opinion about math known to mankind, and yet in Britain and the United States in 2005 Sudoku, the amazing logic puzzle using the digits from 1 to 9 took over the country. People went crazy for it. Couples sat up in bed poring over numbers for hours, waking up in the middle of the night trying to complete the dastardly Sudoku. Millions of books were sold and newspapers found a surge in readership as they produced special pullouts and puzzle pages devoted entirely to Sudoku. When I was in the States promoting Sudoku, I was amazed at how US attributes to numbers exactly reflected the ones we have in Britain. Largely one of fear about math, but Sudoku seemed to transcend all that, and people on the subway and buses were happily doing their math puzzles just as much as regular crossworders. It was great to talk to so many Americans about the puzzles and to teach quite a few of them the tricks of the trade through the TV. Even newsreaders who came on strong with their "oh I hate math" attitude were convinced of how math can be fantastic by the end of the session. I love all that. I've been fascinated how this puzzle has changed many perceptions about numbers. Although strictly speaking Sudoku is about logic and not arithmetic, it does activate the same part of the brain that deals with mathematical structures, and because of this there has been a reawakening of interest and a lessening of fear about numbers. It's an example of how using it, or rather using a particular part of your brain that perhaps you haven't been using before, gives you a boost to do more and to look at other opportunities using the same part of your brain. A consequence of the Sudoku phenomenon has been a heightening of interest in the power of the brain, not just in being able to complete a very specific task such as solving Sudoku, but also how your brain can be retrained so that your thought processes become clearer, more creative, and raise your energy levels in everything you do. I'm a firm believer that the more you use your brain, the more likely you are to achieve happiness. Age is a strange thing. Every day in the media, someone's age is used as a label to imply all sorts of things about them. I hate all this stuff. He's in his 70s implies he might not be up to the job. She's getting on a bed at 63 suggests that this woman is way past her sell-by date and should know better than to think there's plenty of life yet to live. She doesn't look bad considering she's 40-something. Well, we all know what that means. And yet, we all know people who are in their 70s who are far more sprightly than some of those 20 years younger. I've met men and women over 100 years old who appear 30 or 40 years younger than their birth certificates say they are. I know many people in middle age who have more energy than youngsters in their 20s. I'll never forget getting up at 4 a.m. one morning to get a flight up to Manchester to the Good Better Homes, a hit home renovation and property show in Britain. When I arrived at the airport at the other end at about 7 a.m., one of the members of the production team, a young man of 22, was supposed to be picking me up to drive me to Halifax. Unfortunately, his directions got mixed up, and via mobile phone, we realized he was completely lost. So I told him to park the car and tell me which street he was on. I then got a cab to his car, got in, drove him to the location in Halifax. As soon as he arrived, I was busy filming, but by 10:30 a.m., our poor driver was so tired he had to go lie down back at the hotel. Meanwhile, the rest of us kept on filming until 9 p.m. When we finished the job, you had to laugh. He was in the bloom of youth, and the oldies were wearing him out. And so it is in life. It is often an attitude of mind that determines whether you will do something or not, as opposed to whether or not you are physically capable of it. Look at the champions of every sport in the world. At the very top, they all have similar talents, but what makes a champion is not necessarily what happens with their body, but what happens in their head. Sports psychologists train their heads to make them believe that they can win. As a crucial part of the training, well, we can all be champions, not with gold medals swinging around our necks, but with victories large and small in our lives every day. And the difference between small successes and a plethora of failures lies in our brains and how we use them. That's why when I was asked to put this book together, I didn't want to exercise book as such, but something that had a multitude of ideas that you could use without any previous academic study or training. Some of the exercises are so simple, I even ask you to sit in a different chair or move your furniture around in your living room at home. It may sound a little silly, but it isn't. It's changing your perspective, and sometimes just a tiny little thing like that can make all the difference. When I first discussed this with my family, being logical creatures, they thought I'd gone a bit cuckoo. But it's true, we've made over 4,000 programs of countdown where I stand at the letters and numbers board. But whenever I would sit with my co-host Richard Whiteley at his end of the studio and look back at my part of the studio, the whole show appeared so different in my mind. It isn't a view I'm used to at all, and it seems bizarre but true. The more successful products and companies in the world have been born of a simple idea that has looked at an industry from a slightly different perspective. Take the plethora of cheap flight airlines. The simple idea of boarding without a seat allocation makes it faster so that the planes are in the air for more hours every day, making the whole process more economical for the airline and therefore us. Look at the astonishing success of Google, the world's biggest search engine. Two boys in a backyard with the simplest idea. Just type in a word and press search. Instead of having to go through the fancy advertising-related pages of other more corporate search engines offering you services you are not interested in. There were many airlines before, and there were many other search engines, but the success has come from seeing the same need from a slightly different perspective. I really love this book. It's different from my Sudoku books published last year, which were extremely practical, with explanations of how to solve puzzles, together with hundreds of Sudokus to complete. I love those books with a passion too, and they sold millions of copies worldwide. But this book is different. I've split it into two parts. The first part is 101 different ways to exercise separate parts of your brain. Some involve logic puzzles or exercises with words, but others may appear less structured. It's vital that you try exercises from each section, from memory or creativity to logic. My natural enjoyment comes from problems involving logic, so I find the other exercises more difficult. However, I have found that they give me more satisfaction and release parts of my brain power that had been lying dormant for years. I want you to give all of the sections a try and see if you can log how you feel your brain is improving. It's always beneficial to make a few little notes. Jot them down on the page if that helps you, and then by looking back, you'll see what new events and opportunities you're experiencing. As an example of how important these notes can be, I want to tell you about the hundreds of marvelous people who have written into Countdown to tell us specifically about operations they've had to remove brain tumors and how our TV show has helped. Often the hospitals have organized sessions where the patients are told to watch Countdown every day for a month before their operation. And this way they know on average how good they are at the numbers game, maybe reaching the target 80% of the time, and how long their word solutions are, say 6 or 7 letter words. After the operation and during recovery, they are asked to watch Countdown regularly again. At first, their score will be much lower. Let's say typically it has reduced from 7-letter word solutions to 3 letters. But as the brain rebuilds its inner pathways, the patient finds that they can eventually return to the 7-letter solution they used to achieve before the tumor was removed. Hospitals and individuals now see this as a great way of monitoring brain recovery. If those patients can do it, then so can you. A little bit of specific brain exercise every day is all you need. In the second part of this book, I've shown the other ways in which you can help your brain and therefore yourself. Your brain, for instance, needs feeding well, just as we all know the detrimental effects of alcohol and the devastating effects of drug taking. We are now more aware of the positive effects certain oils and supplements can have on the speed of activity within your brain. All of this is covered in part 2. Feed the brain kindly, and it will be kind in return. Don't go away thinking that this book is for older people. It most certainly is not. This book is suitable for anyone from teenagers to 100-year-olds. We can all improve our brains, me included. I'd like you to start by swapping a 15-minute habit with 15 minutes of brain training every day. You'll soon see the pleasures that come with brain training are far more important than wasting another 15 minutes reading a magazine about celebrities you're never going to meet, or smoking a cigarette. Invest in yourself with 15 minutes a day and you'll see how your opportunities and your happiness increase. Have a good one. Introduction: strengthen the muscle in your head. It doesn't matter how clever you are, how old you are, or how many qualifications you have. You can still increase your brain power. Improving and expanding your brain doesn't have to mean going crazy studying or becoming a reclusive bookworm. There are lots of tricks, techniques, and habits, as well as changes to your lifestyle, diet, and behavior that can help you flex your gray matter muscles and get the best out of your brain cells. And this book is packed with them. Your amazing brain. In childhood and the early years of our adult lives, we have information pumped into our brain, whether we like it or not, and then nothing. After formal education and work-related training, the brain is left to get on with it and is largely ignored. For much of our lives, our brains operate as if on autopilot, thinking and reacting in the same way, even if this isn't getting us what we want. This book can change all that. It shows you how you can boost your intelligence and improve the quality of your life by giving your brain a workout. To understand exactly how you can boost your brain power, it is useful to understand how the brain works. Brainwave power. The brain is composed of billions of nerve cells or neurons. They talk to each other with electrical signals and brain chemicals called. The electrical signals travel along branch lines known as axons and dendrites. A single long axon sprouts from each neuron and then divides into numerous branches. These axon branches link up with the dendrites of other neurons. A neuron has lots of dendrites, so many they look like a bottle brush, making up 9/10 of the brain cell's surface area. Connections between axons and dendrites are called synapses and act like on or off switches. When an electrical signal reaches the end of an axon, a neurotransmitter is released into the synapse, and this triggers or blocks, if it's an off switch, a signal in the dendrite it's attached to. If a neuron gets enough on signals from its neighbors, it fires off its own signal. In this way, waves of signals pulsate through the brain thousands of times a minute, controlling movement and processing data. Every time you stimulate your brain, a unique network of connections is activated. If you have acquired a new skill or learned a new piece of information, this creates yet more connections in your brain and also strengthens the ones you already have. The more you use your brain, the better it gets. This applies to anyone regardless of age or circumstances. For example, the brain of a dyslexic person differs from that of a normal reader, but this does not mean that the dyslexic person's brain is inferior or can't be changed. Quite the contrary, it actually can often be very creative and can develop and change, just like any other brain. It was once thought that brain power decreased with age, but research has shown this simply isn't true. Your brain remains highly adaptable, able to acquire new skills and information well into old age, so you can increase your knowledge, intelligence, and abilities at any stage in life. The huge growth in Sudoku puzzles proves that a year or two ago, most people in Britain and the United States had never tried Sudoku, including me. Now it has a huge following, with enthusiasts of all ages eager to get their daily Sudoku fix. Not only are more people playing Sudoku, but it has encouraged many more to have a go at different types of puzzles, including word based puzzles they'd never attempted before. How powerful is the human brain? If you are still unsure whether your brain is up to the task, think about the huge potential locked up inside your head. The brain's power is truly awesome. It has been calculated that the brain contains 100 billion neurons. That number, a 1 followed by 11 zeros, is more than all the stars in the Milky Way. But that pales into insignificance compared with the potential number of connections between neurons and the number of brain patterns they could form. It is estimated that this number could be as high as I followed by 800 zeros. That's more than all the atoms in the universe. When you think of all the skills, knowledge, and memories that could be stored in those brain patterns, the genius of Mozart, who composed his first music at the age of 5, seems well child's play. That gives you an idea of what your mind can achieve, a super brain indeed. So there's no reason why you can't make use of that potential to sharpen your own mind skills. Brain studies. With the development of new brain scanning systems such as magnetic resonance imaging, MRI, or positron emission tomography (PET), we can almost see the brain in operation. These scanners show which part of the brain becomes active, appearing to light up as you think or do certain things. This diagram opposite shows the main brain regions. The exercises in part 1 are designed to stimulate them all. Change your brain, change your life. Superbrain is not just about developing logic and problem solving abilities, but about improving all areas of your brain: concentration, memory, reactions, communication, and creativity. In short, it's about enhancing all aspects of your mind and so changing your life for the better. I'm not old, but the pressures of modern life, practically with a business to run and a family to look after, do take their toll. It's very easy, particularly for women, to feel as though our brains are weighted down with 1,000 things to remember. Lists are my solution to this. If I can put notes onto paper, I don't have to carry that bit of information in my head anymore. I still have to do the job, but it frees up a lot of space in my brain for other more immediate tasks and worries and pleasures too. If you're in high school or college studying for exams, the amount of knowledge you have to take in can seem overwhelming. Superbrain helps you get to grips with your studies and recall what you need when you need, or perhaps you feel you are getting forgetful with age. It's a common worry. Memory problems can sap your confidence and self esteem. The techniques in this book will help strengthen your memory and boost self esteem in the process. If you find it hard to concentrate for more than a few minutes, it can affect your performance at school or work, especially when learning new skills. Again, there are tips in this book to help you focus and tackle any subject with ease. Do you long to write a novel or start your own business but simply can't come up with the right ideas? Maybe you struggle to find the words that express how you really feel. Whenever your age or situation, Superbrain is designed to open and expand your mind, boost your confidence, and add a sparkle to everything you think and do. Use it to change your mind and your life for the better. There are tips and techniques here that can help you achieve your goals. A whole brain workout. After centuries of research, not only do we know that the brain can change and adapt, we also know that this is a two-part organ. The right side of the brain mainly controls the left side of the body, and the left brain mainly controls the right side of the body. In most people, the left side of the brain is the logical rational side. It deals with facts, diagrams, dates, letters, numbers, math skills, language, point by point information, and shaping ideas. timing, and rhythm necessary for developing music playing skills are here too. The right side deals with color, imagery, perspective, spatial relationships, and other complex visual patterns. Imagination, intuition, and insightful thinking are located here, along with the ability to recognize and remember tones, melodies, sound quality, and intensity needed for musical appreciation. The right brain recognizes faces, the left brain recognizes names. Only when both sides are fully involved in learning can we reach our full potential. Part 1, Bionic Brain presents 101 savvy brain teasers and exercises to flex your mental muscles and strengthen your brain. Some exercises work your left brain, the rational, logical part of your brain, while others work your right brain, the intuitive, creative, imaginative part. Together, they give you a well rounded brain workout and equip you to meet any mental challenge. Whether it's remembering a name or where you put your mobile phone, being creative in your work, holding your own in any conversation, or mastering a new skill. What's your brain type? Do you watch the clock constantly or wait until the rumble of your stomach reminds you it's time to take a break? Do people say you are down to earth or up in the clouds? These characteristics are associated with your brain type. Typically, dominant left-brainers are meticulous, precise, organized, and think things through practically and logically. They feel happier when they have guidelines, rules, and schedules to follow. On the other hand, right-brainers are dreamers. They are often more spontaneous, imaginative, and intuitive than cautious left-brainers and tend to follow their gut feelings. Most of us are neither strongly logical nor strongly intuitive, but somewhere in between, and that's perfectly normal. Everyone is different and has characteristics of both types. Though right brain thinking is often regarded as more creative than left brain thinking, there is no right or wrong here. They are merely two different forms of thought process. One is not better than the other, just as being right handed is not superior to being left handed. What's important is to stretch your mind by trying out different ways of thinking. Whatever your natural preference, your brain will be stimulated by these exercises. If you are strongly practical and logical, left brain, pay particular attention to the creativity, communication, and memory exercises. If you're strongly intuitive and creative, right brain, the concentration, problem solving, and reaction sections are especially significant for you. How to get the best out of this book. To use this book in the most effective way, have a go at all the sections in Superbrain. Don't just stay within your comfort zone. For example, if you're good at logic, you might find yourself automatically turning to the problem solving sections first. However, the creativity exercises would probably be better for you and helping to develop the more neglected areas of your brain. Before you begin, take a moment to answer the questions on the following page, as they can help you discover your strengths and weaknesses. They can also give you guidance on the best places to start and help identify which sections in Part 1 will challenge your brain. Try a couple every day for a month and see how you do. 1. Are you good at crosswords or Sudoku? If you are, try the creativity exercises. 2. Do you always remember birthdays and anniversaries? If so, challenge yourself with the communication exercises. 3. Are you the life and soul of the party? If that is the case, have a go at the concentration exercises. 4. Have you always thought of yourself as artistic and creative? If you have, tackle the problem solving exercises. 5. Can you shut out distractions easily? If you can, try the reaction time exercises. 6. Is it easy for you to invent at the end of the day? If so, you might want to challenge yourself with the memory exercises. 7. Are you a creature of habit? Then you need to do some mind power exercises. Part 2. Brain Basics 7 Steps to Get a Better Brain is an important supplement to the exercises in Part 1. It explains how simple changes to your lifestyle and behavior can help keep you mentally fit. You'll also learn what the latest research has uncovered about your brain's ability to develop and how simple steps such as healthy eating, regular exercise, and the right kind of mental stimulation can also boost your brain power. Have fun exercising your brain. The exercises in this book are designed to be enjoyable as well as mentally stimulating. So have fun as you tackle them. Feel free to flip through this book, selecting and working with any exercise that grabs your attention. However, you decide to work with the book, remember that mental fitness, your ability to concentrate, reason, imagine, solve problems, and be creative depends on how well and how often you challenge and exercise your brain. To recap, the brain has the capacity to keep changing and developing throughout life, so you can boost your intelligence and knowledge at any age. Loss of brain power is inevitable with age, and intelligence is not fixed at birth. Most age related losses in memory and mental ability simply result from inactivity and lack of mental exercise and stimulation. In other words, use it or lose it. Reading and working through this book could be the best and most important decision you ever make. It will limber up your brain and power up your brain circuits. You may even find that it sparked new interests, hidden talents, ideas, and confidence you didn't know you had. I hope you enjoy the mental exercises stimulation Superbrain offers.